Hey everyone, I'm going to be talking about article number 8, and it's entitled 9 Ways the Common Core Will Change Classroom Practices, and it was written by Robert Rothman in the summer of 2012. In this article, he focused on a survey done by William Schmidt from the University of Michigan State. In this survey, he found that there was some good news from the Common Core state standards and some bad news. And the good news was that most teachers in the country have read the Common Core state standards and have an understanding of what that entails. The bad news is that 80% of teachers say that the mathematical Common Core or the standards are very similar to what they're already teaching right now. And so in this article, Rothman emphasizes the fact that the math is different and that they're going to need to make changes with their teaching in order to meet the standards. Rothman continues along in the article talking about 9 different ways that practices will need to change in the classroom. He focuses on 4 for the math section and 5 for English language arts. And I'm going to start with the math section first. In the math section, he talked about some important differences, with the first one being a greater focus on fewer topics. So math teachers are going to be focusing on fewer topics each year at each grade level, and they'll be taking those topics in greater depth, teaching them in greater depth to the kids. The next one will be coherence. Finding ways to build coherency between grade levels, and students will be expected to show their understanding through higher complexity skills. The third thing that Rothman talked about pertaining to math would be that the skills, understanding, and application, students would have to show these things to their teachers. One being showing that they proficiently know how the procedures work in math. They'd have to show their deeper understanding through a variety of problems, and then, of course, solving problems would be another example for them to show their understanding and application of their knowledge in math. The last thing that he talks about for math would be an emphasis on practice, and teachers will be expected in their classrooms to provide more practice time for their students so that they can solidify their understanding of the mathematical concept that they're talking about that day in that unit. Moving on to the English language arts, Rothman takes a look at how teachers will be having to use more nonfiction in their classrooms. The focus for the Common Core will be to have half of the books read in elementary be nonfiction, and about 75% of the books being read in high school to be nonfiction, with another emphasis on more expository writing for the students. The second thing that he talks about for English language arts would be a focus on evidence. When students give answers, they're going to need to be supporting those answers with evidence from their readings and their texts and their research and things like that to show a deeper understanding, and providing evidence for that would do that. The third thing that Rothman discusses would be staircases of text complexity. Students would have to show that they can move from one skill and do that skill again, but with higher complexity, to show their deeper understanding of that. And states are trying to find ways to help teachers provide text for teachers for them to do this with. The next thing that he talks about is speaking and listening skills. Teachers are going to have to provide more opportunities for their students to speak in small group settings and whole group settings, where they're being able to practice these skills, as states are also going to be developing assessments to help test these speaking and listening skills so that students are more prepared for college and their future career. That's one other skill. The last one he talks about is literacy in the content areas, such as history and science and social sciences. Teachers will be needing to have students not only just learn about these texts, but having students show judgment and finding out if these sources are credible and things like that. So that's the last thing that he talked about. There are 9 things in total, 4 for math and 5 for English language arts. And all of these things would change some of the practices that teachers currently have in the classroom. Rothman wraps up his article by talking about how states are working really hard right now to provide professional development for their teachers so that they can rise up and teach these effectively to their students. I would also agree with this. I feel that if the Common Core state standards, or as they continue to be implemented, it's very important for schools to provide training for their teachers so that teachers have the tools necessary to meet the needs of their students with the rising standards and the rigor that is expected from them. So, yep, that's all. Thanks so much for listening.